Skype Radio and TV Services Studios, West Yorkshire, Leeds, Stencil Mountain. Welcome all on board our weekly civic education program today, Saturday, 16th of May, 2026 at 17:13 UK time. Mustafa Jame is my name at the site. Assalamualaikum bading ulung al kuntong mo bedauda anibe watu so on Skype our radio and TV services studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mountain al kuntong kal bismillah na program ming kasodojang loko ninyan tembensi the civic education program and al bani malam Mustafa Jame membesirin program mo kun nanyan tembe. Okay, déglu kat yi ñu ngi leen di nuyu fii ci Sky Power radio and TV services by ko fii ci studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mountain bunti programme civic education programme ànd ak seen xarit Moustapha Jammeh nekkal leen ci bunti rajo bi. Right, greetings to viewers and listeners wherever you are on this planet Earth. Welcome all on board our civic education program today. Panelists, we got Suleiman Ben Suare, Suleiman Jeng, and we're expecting they to join us very shortly. Greetings to you, Sol, wherever you are. Sol Baji, greetings, Bamba, Mas, Kadim, Alaji Baro, Manjigi, Inembara, Banyadi, and Aziz Bojang, greetings to you, wherever you are. Comme nous ko baxo di refer rek semaine bu nek weekend bu nek dañ fi nek we'll say so am na ñu waron wax ne people are saying ko Suleiman Jeng le why Suleiman Jeng so they were if you miss one program people will call me to say why is Mr. XYZ not on, what is happening, is has he switched allegiance to President Barrow or to so sometimes I have some few questions to answer why on the spotlight. Why do you Sol bon ñu bay la nga nuyo greetings to you. Let's come to you Ben first. Ben Suare. Ben, greetings.
Greetings Manglanu, the new Smotoma and the new all those people the follow Sky Power Radio. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Sol.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mangla delu di la nuyu di la siare. Sa turu ak sa sant ak sa wàccuwaay. Tom yoyit mangla nuyu di la santa di la gërëm si sa taxawaay bu tedda bi nga taxaw ci réew mi di mek so yaa ngi ñaxtu bés bu nekk pour ñu am suñu wàlleef ci nguur gi ak ci réew mi ñu ngi la ci santa bu baax di la gërëm yàlla yokkala fan bu gudda mujj gu rafet ak wér gu yaram
amin yàlla boole
yes I think explain on little Dumadan Munanyo every other Saturday, and I don't think I need to go back to that.
No,
the other
right.
point is Barrow will always be my Barrow. Come rain, come sunshine. Why Lolu Tahut Dumakoa Degabi when the need is. But Barrow will always be my Barrow. Come rain, come sunshine.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Great stuff. So Ben, today our topic title: the current state of affairs in the Gambia. How in the back home in the Gambia is quite a lot of things happening in the Gambia. Well, to make a start on this, we want to have a look at the political landscape, especially when it comes to political tribal differentiation on the tribal line, because currently there's a guy called Sidin Jai. He flagged it up there, what is happening ak lu demee noonu in the Gambia tur bi ak sant bi ak ñi def nii lu demee noonu is something that it can cause a lot of things. Politic of tribal line. So Ben, so your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Mustafa. It's quite scary, and the reason I'm saying my reaction to that audio, and I can tell you that's not the only audio. I know someone who have listened to the other audios. Monema, those ones are worst, and mota mom to share, and for knowing what's on Gambia, I'm in the other audios and sharing ko. Probably that's very true. Okay, that's one. And the reaction when they gonna yenen audio, you have to react to him out of emotion, out of ignorance. And slowly ame, muge one tension buneka si deka before nene, sinyowe siwahi tribe. Naturally, Gambia, as we say, among a tribalism problem. What we have is people weaponizing tribe who make a problem. The reason I said among tribalism problem, because there's no single Gambian bula they don't have relatives in other tribes. They could have the history of evolution of our tribes in Senegambia. Dinga hamne tribe yep amna for hamne they have connected. So hole Jatanjay Santa bo hamne mungsi sose jola olof dinga hambon lan la ñetti tribe yoy bokk so hole njay nga xam lum nekk ci pol sose olof nga xol kamara nga xol lenen at lenen at lenen nga xam suñ history nga xam ne bon yaga nañ together but so ñëwé to Gambia ci bopam di nga xam ne ñun ñëpp daanaka motax ñu xamanté because intermarriage buñ def but to a fact amuñ tribalism problem but politicization the use tribe as a political weapon egana for hamne suñ moytuwut we will see the results yoo xam ne moo am yeneen dëkka fa lañ toolu di Gambia for tuuti and with the presence of social media it's easy now for anybody to send messages and send most messages in them viral and emotions get high and other people can use it and we're in the problem. And again, duñ mëna bañ ne we are people of tribe. Mënuñ ko bañ. But that does not mean we will hate other tribes or we will wish them something bad. But su ñëwee to mbiri resources, buga place, buga win elections, buga def li. This is where negatively we use tribe for advance our interests. But another point we want to raise more. There are these architects you use as a political tool in a very negative way, in a very threatening way. But in the reaction from people who perceive they are the victims in a point more in the explosion to Dekabi. Let me just give that overview and then we can get to it. Thank you.
Makes sense. Cheers. Sol, your thoughts?
That lolu make na sense bu baax Tom jërëjëf maa ngi laa siyaare ci gestu bi nga gestu noonu I think loolu mooy dëgg bi xam nga Gambia comme li nga wax amuñ any tribal issues so gisee ñu ne amuñ tribal problem danga xool man yow ak Mustafa for instance na yow mun nga pol nga man pol la na ñu bari ñu ngi foog ne olof la Mustafa whatever ethnic group bi mu jóge waaye ak ndey ak Bamba ak Asis xam nga dañ am nañ that very solid relationship boo xam ne dañ dee agree to disagree understand léegi we don't see things in the same wavelength waaye dañ ko dee mun a discuss maturely be ku nekk take a piece of li nga gom ci that discussion te yaxut dara si suñ diggante ma bamba time boobu ndem si yàlla si Nuha Fofana mu ngi woon UDP is like on Facebook ma moom dafa mel ni dañoo reyante waaye buñ dajee da nga foog ne du ñaar ñi ñoo nekkoon Facebook so loolu mu ngi wone ne ñun as individuals amuñ problème ci mbiri xeet comme ni nga ko waxee ñu ngi seyante ñu ngi demlante ci ay dëj xam nga ñu ngi jëflante yu bari ñu ngi business ak lu bari ñooy demandoo di same school ñooy demandoo di same juma ñoo demandoo di same lopitaan doo dugga foofu nga gis ne kii soose la o kii olof la o kii xanaa su làkkee yow léegi soo demee ngay làkka olof suñ la gisee dañoo foog ne xëy na kii olof la santa bi in the Gambia comme ni nga ko explainer santa bi dëkkut fen di nga ko mun a find in every other tribe man dama foogoon ne xëy na sambu time boobu joolaa leen o tukulóor understand nga man suma yaay Sambula santa waaye yaa ngi ko gis si olof yi yaa ngi ko fekk si place yu bari si xeet yu bari so that wone na ne amuñ as individuals amuñ tribal thing waaye problème bi mooy suñ njiiti politicians yi comme ni nga ko waxee so munuma to be honest munuma understand naka la politicien ku bugga nit ñi sànnil ko karta muy ñëw di xaajaloo nit ñi ba pare ñooñu war a taxaw jox ko seen karta because nit ko xam ne yow sa xel dafa mat amuloo feebari xel man ma war a ñëw bugga yow ngeen fal ma jiite leen ma ñëw ma naan la yow bul waxa Mustapha bul waxa Ben te bugga naa yéen ñaarem ngeen sànnil ma karta obviously maa ngi leen a woon ne yéen soo leen ma joxee ma jiite leen duma leen mun a fajal seen soxla because yow soo soxlee dara dinaa ne non Mustapha mu ne yow waruloo koo am so maa ngi build that hatred ak mistrust between yow ak Mustapha pour man ma sowe ma mun a dunda mun a survive ci yéen so noonu laa ko gisee isu audio Sidi Njie man bi ma ñëwee ma ne nit ñi waruñoo blame Sidi Njie because Sidi Njie is an agent understand moom Barrow mu ngi ko use pour mu propagate that bigotry, political bigotry.
Yeah.
Because soo gisee ma wax loolu mooy bu Barrow génnee loolu bi mu xewee des nit ñaa ngi wax si social media bi nit ñaa ngi joxe different opinions Barrow génnut distant boppam ak speech Sidi Njie bi Barrow bi mu génnee di wax doomi NPP la adresse ne leen ne nit njaay lañ kenn si ñu nekkul malayka so obviously ku xam ne ci ñun def nga o wax nga naka la sudut noonu buñ génn ci biti di ñaañante nañ ko wax ci biir néeg so mu ngi ko waxee in a way boo xam ne xen na yow sa xalaat su soriwut danga foog ne li olof njaay day wax le gàcce bu amee ci biir néeg doomi ndey moo ko faj waaye su demee ba ci penca mi doomi baay moo ko faj waaye loolu logically it does not make sense because àndut ak suñ diine Islam dafa wax ne nit ki all the time danga war a farleel sa mbokkay danga war a farleel sa àndandoor yi naka nga la naa farlee mooy ne buñ juumee nga ooleen ne leen juum nga fi nga taxaw du taxaw bu baax nga wàññi leen ñu ñëw ñu taxawaat fu baax waaye loolu minut ne yow danga war a génn ci mbooloo mi wone ne kooku lim def dafa rafet danga ko war a ñaawlu ci biir ak ci biti loolu mooy dimbale boroom loolu mooy bugga boroom waaye nem ko waxee is like in a way mu ngi jéema threaten NPP supporters yi bu leen génna di ŋàñña di ŋaña doomi NPP problème su amee yéen da ngeen ko war a wax seen biir néeg waru leen a génn ci biti loolu is wrong moom as a leader lim waroon a def loo xam ne moo gënoon a rafet dafa ñëw ne ak lu lañ ne Sidi Njie de li mu wax jaaduwut waru ko wax understand nga ne ok léegi Sidi génnal nga balu axa because tooñ nga ñu bari ñoo xam ne waruloo leen a tooñ Yaya Jammeh ak nu mun di mel soo taxawee si plateforme am nga wax against another politician daf la dee stop there and then te su la yàlla dimbalew sax dañ la dee génnee out of the tow def na ko du benn du ñaar but I've never seen Barrow do that musuma ko gis te issues like this li nga wax xam nga léegi social media bi is dafa accessible so much ne nit ki mun na diffuse attention very quickly and easily with maturity nit tamit mun na fuel and instigate a disturbance and uprising very easily and very quickly a good example mooy that PIU officer we address on students at the university.
Okay, yeah.
Bim Gene is like he could have spoken in a way bo hamne dafa anger the students. Why the Flynn approach as he is one of them. Approach them as an officer. He approached them as one of them. One of the tone big guy expect to hear from the police. So Lulu Tanabe diffuse na that tension. Create a lot of understanding and acceptance among them. That is the kind of leadership Lanini expect in our communities, in our society. So Lulu is lacking. I don't know, whoever is advising Barrow needs to be very careful because ñu si political period. Xam nga doomi Adama léegi yàlla daf la dee may nga dem tollu ba ci jamono nga naagu nga dem feel ne yow la du yàlla amatuti yow la so suñ politicians yi dañ dee dem to a point dañ dee feel ne ñoom duñ lose elections they would win te loolu lañ feesal si boppi Barrow bi
am na solo so thank you bala ñoo naka affaire si bala we leave the floor open Ndeye greetings.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for being late. I'm just fatene independence celebration or no iffy, so I had a couple of things to do. Traffic gets heated. Lula and just New Year and Suleiman Bensuare, thank you so much for making time to be with us here, and thank you so much for coming. Suleiman Jeng, it's been a while. Welcome back, and and Mustafa, and also suñ déglu kat yi di leen nuyu ñoom ñëpp daal. Yes.
Tom, dama bëggoon a ñëw foofu because with Barrow, these are not mistakes or mishaps. It's a strategy. Ma joxe just a background of this. In the First Republic, as politicians everywhere, identity do matter in politics. It's matter of don't use it negatively because you cannot help who you are. And whoever you are, dina tax nga am appeal to certain part of your community. Some people are because of their attractiveness, they will have support. Some people because of their ethnicity, they will have support. Because sense of awareness is not the same across the board. Ñena you lu appeal ci ñom li la. So and other things na la jox appeal. But you should not go out there to use something like tribe for sense of to appeal to your base. Sense of origin. Suma neke Kombonka, suma neke wa Bakau, I'm likely to appeal to wa Bakau because sense of ownership than somewhere else. Not a politician bune. For jege is termed as support base for falamo jóge. And so like a youth, people expect the youths to support her. So like a woman, people expect women to support. These things are natural. It will come a time, politicians will try to blow the line or try to exploit some of these things in order to broaden your base or solidify your base. Mungan am si Fourth Republic. Some ugly sins amna. But it has never been that way until Buyaya Jammeh. To an extent, it was institutionalized. Now, so by how in the First Republic, the first time was a Wolof candidate, Pernjai Sadauda. That was just a short period. But Sadauda main candidates were two candidates, Sirif Diba, Sadauda. But Sirif Diba have to be painted as someone called Mugi from the extreme right. He doesn't like these people and so on and so forth. That was a lie. It's a political maneuver. That's where it started. But Bunyoe and Lulu was kind of one person, but not to an ethnicity. One person and don't live in there because no. But so anyway, one thing. Yaya informedly utilized her. Hamnane, the reality of identity did not happen. What I better is show them any African country. The candidate doesn't have to tell his people Jola la Sosela Pola Sanelema. But from today, you will have a percentage of hamne. This is one reason why you call Sane. Even Usman Sonko Bulane, he's so progressive, so they make customers, they own him. But does not mean that he doesn't appeal to other places. But they just want that because they want to see him belonging to them to be a president. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their level of understanding. But those people don't hate any other person, or they will not wish anybody else. Just an election, no one, they will do it and walk away. Now, we are anyway, these statements. Just as, because Yaya played this man, just as you said, Soneke is a political realm, so make a certain statement against a politician, but he will do it. He will do it, but he will again play it away for one and he doesn't promote it. Then Momsuko Defe, the family, and anyway, he will justify it. How about all the names, but younger news, one and just respect. He did the same thing. When he said, Ben living in source, he said that. Then Bunko Wahe, but Ninidega, Mukaviako. Mangewa, those from the opposition. This is a caveat. Those from the opposition. Yaya would make sure the videographers will always point where he is directed. Because you said la flani luta bumalifine udaflo. And she pointed, you see a row of Mandinkas, elders, sitting there. And when wahuma source yep, magi wax ñu nekk ci opposition bi. Mu reinforce ko pour gëmloo na ne opposition bi source yu fa nekk duñ doomi gréemu ba. Mo flani ñoo xamne naka tuba bi ñoo leen sponsor pour yaaxal suñ réew. Pour indi fi bi fi góor jigéen pour def fili. That's a message boo xam ne it started there and it was intentional. Now da nga doon gis ne soo nekkee conscious nit ñi nekkul that to point ne soo nekkee sources sax nga nekkoon si opposition bi sax you might think ne I will be identified as those supporting because a president moo ko wax. President la te nit ñi nu ñoo gisee president it's not my yow ñoom seen understanding. Koo xam ne mu ngi ñëw sol waramba wu rëy jàppa kurus xam nga di wax waxi yàlla and all those kind dañ koo gëm ba pare bu mu pointé ñu ngi laa wan ne there are elderly Mandinkas here bon de ñi ñooy soose yu baax yi ñu toppa Jammeh because he have to play that ethnic line because mu ngi jógee from a minority this thing.
I think to be quite honest, Jammeh is a lot smarter.
Yeah, sure.
He's a brutal but very smart leader.
Yeah. But another thing he does, even head of departments, he will put a symbolic person. Whenever he puts a CDS to be any other tribe, who is the deputy CDS? Who are the most influential people within the ranks? That person is just Tokun Ratla. But he will point to those things. So definitely. Yes, obviously, he will always get people from other areas to support. But Blue Danger Moine, he is putting this divide in order to marginalize the opposition, especially the opposition that is perceived to be posing a threat to depose him. Now, so you to Barrow with evidence. So by her last election, a presidential advisor for religious affairs, Nekatu fi Buguma name Turam, Dunatu. But we all know who I'm talking to. Dafa taw moom mu nekk doomi soose nekk koo xam ne mag la kilifa la mu taxaw di wax ne soo leen sànnilee UDP which was likely to win elections suñ demee to elections ne yéen poli jógee Fuuta yéen poli sax amul ñu jógee Fuuta poli di ngeen paak seen bagage dem Fuuta yéen joolaay di ngeen paak seen bagage dem sama you see that kind of thing léegi moom you can tell me. And after the elections, oh, it was just a strategy. Can you imagine? This is a seasonal politician. More gonna harm injustice, more gonna harm more gonna harm divisiveness. But at that time, they are so desperate to skip their jobs, they will say anything. They're highlighting the consequences. They just measure it, you win election and stay in power. Now,
am nga difference be man lima buga wonene am nga time Jammeh he was accused of so many things yo xamne urna yalla ne Jammeh yeguko te Jammeh order wut lolu understand nga and it's the same thing that is happening on the Barrow gis nga ngi Tom
mangi
okay
now we cannot excuse leaders because of Lee's statement, and these are not the only statement. As a permanent statement. Understand? Get other statements. Momsi make statements similar. Now, the second one, recently, elections dino. When Sehumbaro, Tahaw, again, the environment Sehumbaro said this. He invited immigration officers. They are to process documents for voter registration. Mudem invite poli de. Mune la fare invite poli yo hamne pol foot aleng. For to the understanding ne ya amulen documents. Legi ni fin bafe dilan ne bulen ragal. Ya ge wax nit ñi na bon kay la ñu ya halwa. Bulen ragal ndiglan muna ko government pol la. Bafe the point all the sensitive positions. Your hamne I pull off an This guy is a presidential advisor. The only reprimand who fitting might get him out. You don't allow this and this should not happen. But no, he kept his position and in fact more influence. Now, Sidinjai knew what Sidinjai def is not a mistake. In fact, Sidinjai provide an imperial evidence to what this system is about. Unknowingly, because of he did not say it in public, he was confident enough. And I can tell you, I spoke to a person who had other 2 audios. Munama yoyo gina garam. Motaf mom duko release. Because muna flare up.
Yeah, like
what's on Gambia tamne amning other audios. They are not going to release it. Benaling release. Now, what Sidinjai said, in fact, with evidence, the permanent secretary position is still vacant after 6 months. When a vice president wanted the deputy permanent secretary, I'm confident because of Mandinkala is perceived to be opposition, ne doko nega, and position du mungi vacant. Overruled. Ñu jël someone appoint co-director general of GRTS. Mu dem gene koku dem tek fa kenen ko xamne pour la mu ne moko def because of koku tam opposition. A minister in cabinet ñew diko ñaan from suba be ngon mu bañ dara genu ci. Now, when Barrow came, the minute that audio was made available, Sidinja should have been out. That's the only appropriate punishment. For one and you not condone. But lan la def, la reinforce ne look.
I think I'll just make a quick reminder. Hamga Barrow dumuna daha Sidinja completely because Casey ki ya kumba bi. Hamga ya kumba because Barrow lifinon dafa dem code guy challenge ko code bi dafa rule ne Barrow munu ko lifin.
That so, from your party.
Wow.
What happened in the UK here?
What happened in the UK here? Yeah, let me comment. Barrow warona def like I said. Su ko daahul si party bi sax na distant bopam awa bi mu publicly reprimand Sidi Njie. So House of Parliament bi léegi ñoo xam ne doomi Gambia ñoo xam ne ñoo fa nekk si constituency Sidi Njie ak yenn constituencies ñoom ñoo war a petition house bi pour gaay recall Sidi Njie xam nga whatever process li gaay war a def ñu génne ko waaye Barrow du ko mun a daaxa as deputy speaker.
Mun nañ Barrow lu mu war a def mooy daaxa ko from the party su nekk ne du ko def. No, what Barrow said in fact mooy because within the party then complain and someone came out in the open. Kokula will reprimand neko, you should not come out in the open. But why Barrow si bopam? Demut in on the behind the scenes the lady neko wallo in the open. But let's go and put the for one ene he supports his position.
Yeah.
Then what the responsibility is a strategy for ñom. They did not see the consequences of this.
True. That's true. Thank you.
Thanks, Suleiman and Suleiman Jeng on that. Man, I also think Barrow munna gene Sidi Njie even from Parliament because Barrow can force Sidi Njie nakodanga resignal because it happens here. Then like gis nañ ko fi suñ te ñooñu case bi sax dafa out on Saturday. They have to force the deputy party leader pour mu resign. Emut fofu party bi ñoko force pour mu resign as a state minister on top of it because of the incident. And this was just living la one PDM nga travel, you took it and then you were still here. Journalists them dig, they found out that. But they forced him to resign. So Barrow can tell Sidi Njie, look, you have to step down from this position. I cannot kick you out. That is true. Legally, Barrow munuko gene. Why Barrow can tell Sidi Njie, you have to step down even as a deputy speaker because I appointed you in this position with the trust. Now that trust is not there from the people. I cannot kick you out, but I will ask you to do the honorable thing to go down. Man, I think Sidi Njie would have done that. Sidi Njie is just a dog that you just drag with rope. You take
what is a possibility? Definitely.
Then another possibility also is Parliament can also start process on Sidi Njie because Sidi Njie if the grave is very grave because Sidi Njie is an abuse of authority. Sidi Njie if him talk and don't forget this is the chairman of the Defense and Security Committee. Fala Sidi Njie talk. That is a very powerful place in the security system because ñun dañ dégg police di wax ne order come from above and anytime you hear order come from above Sidi Njie lañ dey or Trump. So this is the man who was sitting as the chairperson of the Defense and Security Committee in Parliament.
Interfere.
Exactly. Parliament has to do something about it for the safety and security of any Gambian. Because parliamentarian, you talk for Tay, you are talking about the journalists. Tomorrow it could be them. So Sidi Njie, they should start process to take him off because he has really committed the gravest crime sitting as a speaker, at the same time sitting as the chair of the security council. Police, you have access to the police. Ñun xam nañ suñ police jànguñ duñ follow loi yi du ñëpp a jànga anyway duñ follow loi the rule. The fact that mu ngi talk as a chair, that gives the Sidi Njie the legal power and all these authorities to
I think we had a quick chat before you them live. about policing be. Limo Moine, we have to face the facts and say the fact according to Mustafa, borrowing his term. We have to say the facts. The IG position is a political one. The Linga Wane is like, not every Gambian would do the honorable in executing their duties without fear or favor. Being a political, because Lima Moy, man, if I were the IG politician, Bunyo Suma office, the Jema interfere with my work, I would show you the door and ask you to get out of my office if you are lucky. If you are not lucky, dinala detain because you interfere with, security duties you have, amulo ben legal affair, legal rights or whatever, pour nga wara interfere because you provide the cost of justice. Why gisuma ben police officer bo hamne dina am the guts to do that because dañ feel ne suñ ko defé they would lose their positions. So lolu mung ma delo wat ci lima wax xam nga doomi adama if you don't have options, understand nga do de sa ngor daf de hala nagu tuti, but when you have options in life you bari do ko nangu because doomi adama ko kuñ wax ne ki bañkat la xamal ne dafa am fi mu wéeru dafa am options because bari si ñoom léegi henna suñ
like when people don't nit ñi suñ amut options duñ dee bañ, but Suleiman dama la bëgg isi back to man what I experienced as a kid growing up in Banjul. ñun dañ amoon ay mag yoo xam ne dañu daan dégga dañoo bañ te they don't have amuñ
because ñooñu xam nga mag ñooñu.
And I remember even time boobu sax I remember what incident I was a kid and I can still remember it. Julli time la Tobaski Jawara late and they started ñuy kabar si jumaa ji cooli ne kur ñu ne non ñoom duñ xaar Jawara time bi dafa jot
na yow option si nga wax ne mooy da nga am order job yaa ngi am education ak yooyu waaye xam nga ñooñu
why those people didn't have any job
loolu laa la wax ñooñu seen dunda yaakaare wuñ ko ci doomi adama
loolu lay wane na looloo change
loolu mooy am an option because you had an option am nga gom-gom gi ne yow man ndey munuma dundal in any way man suma ñaxa mooma dundal damay génn ñafe te yàlla mi ma saxa dina ma jox pexe ak opportunity boo xam ne dina fa dunda soo ko gomee nga óolu ko waaye
Saul, the problem here is what went wrong
system bi is like suma toom limwa system bi lañ wara change. The system is wrong in itself.
How do we change the system? Where do we start? Because
system bi mooy dañoo elect a leader boo xam ne leader bu déggu la.
So Barrow need to go. President Barrow déggu dafa war a dem, yeah?
Why, Mustafa?
Well, Barrow, not only about déggu, Barrow needs to go for several reasons. Birek, for instance, coming out and defending CD on that political bigotry. Waron nañ ko impeach. They should have started a process for impeach ko mom si bopam because mu ngi wone ne mom mo yoni CD. He is in agreement with what CD is saying. To a point, mu ngi condemn ñoo xamne gëna nañ di condemn CD. So me, Motamane, don't blame CD. CD is just a messenger. Understand? Man maneka president. Let me just finish. Man maneka president. Tom ñew mu ne man ma wax li, man ma order li. So mu ngi wone ne man suma kaddu as a president amut solo. Mom kaddu mo am solo. Either mom mu dem or man ma dem. Understand?
Support na Tom lu mu wax ne naka Sidi doko blame luma min ne Sidi doko blame. Who is Sidi Njai? Barrow made Sidi Njai. The guy was never popular for anything good. The guy have never even Dekabum Joge Munuta win a parliamentary seat there. The guy has zero political influence. Bonayam la identify. Bonayam la identify to use ko. Who is
irony bi ma gis mooy Sidi Njie mu ngi claim ne ñu opposition lañ. Why he was the first opposition boo xam ne bugutoon nguuri Barrow bi. So only sensible leader.
Barrow did this informally. Xam na lu mu def. Maa la to the point of ne the system itself or nit ñu wóor Barrow ëpp doole bi yëpp laa la wax, including civil servants gëmuñ dara. Do you know the power Sidi Njie have?
Even the vice president, options.
Even the vice president should have resigned. Even the vice president
yes,
should have resigned.
Suleiman, just to kick in that point, being our vice president, Sidi Njie did not confess ne. Vice president, the vice president did nothing about it.
Yeah,
nothing.
The vice president should have resigned.
That shows how much. Yeah.
Look, I can tell you the reason Sidi Njie is naka materially rich is because of he's a gatekeeper. Ñëpp xam nañ the influence he have on Barrow and the Barrow's household. Most of these people bëgguñoo dispute with Barrow to the extent of the former vice president had a strained relationship before Mude because of Sidi Njie, because he never entertained Sidi Njie's interference or meddling in his office. And Barrow end up taking Sidi Njie's side. I can tell you that. Then Sidi Njie money and that influence is because of Barrow.
Exactly. Yeah. So mo inde bilami Barrow mo inde. Xam nga li Olof Njaay wa gis nga bañi demba suñ nango tay sen pe mo jubut. Man duma la mëna he demba tay ma ñew ma bugala. It's not possible. En lima la enelon mo yalla moko dogalut. Te suma lima planon fo yow yalla ne lolu du am motama so ñom Sidi Njie bañi dem so xolé Barrow tay lima wax I think couple of weeks ago lima binda ñuko surround 90% yep ñoñu demba do xamne nit ñi bëggu ñu associate seen bopa ak Barrow on the social media ñoñu ñoo doon taxaw openly diko ngaña diko wax yu ñaaw tay ñoñu ñoo nek around Barrow ñun ñoo xamne dañ gennon demba di taxaw diko defend diko support ñun lañ baña gis dañ ko wax ne because man am na benn waaji UDP after dama ko lifin block sax every time daf ma dee ne look am na ñoo xam ne dañoo dem state house di wax Barrow ne yow doo musa am liggéey ak government bi because xam nga yow bla bla mu ngay wax yu bari so man loolu dama ko jël as something loo xam ne is irrelevant because benn man I was reappointed understand nga so man ma bugut I could have gone back, continue liggéey bi at the time, understand? So, suma buge, tay muna pak suma bagage ma dem Gambia dogo gana Barrow ni gaay ni def bema am suma place. Why suma ngor mayuma ko? Understand?
Let me show another evidence of Sidi's influence in this. You remember when the diaspora crop wanted to put the hospital in Chaman?
Yes.
He everything came out. Moko objective. These are his people. He made sure the planning officers, the administrators of the Ministry of Health went to coffee time and lied about plans that they are starting the project. That's why he made the entire ministry come out to lie about the plan. What is money? The system itself going down. Imagine that. How can you lie about something like that?
So coming back to Mustafa's question, nakala nyo change system.
You change the system, you have to get Barrow out.
Yeah.
Because of
yes, Barrow has to be out.
Mandimagom is not just changing Barrow, changing personality. Because munga gene Barrow nga defa Suleiman Ben Suare. And Suleiman Ben Suare
there is no choice around.
What about the change personality? The reason we talk about change, more to bring the person, people who are capable.
Exactly. And so somebody called Hamne is robust, somebody called Hamne Hamga, that they own up to either successes or failures. Somebody called Hamne Ragalut Awad Dega. Somebody called Hamne is, fair and firm. Somebody called Hamne did not bring in those changes that we need to strengthen our institutions. For instance, like 2-term limit be. Because lolu moy suñ main problem fim nekani. 2-term limit be suñ ko institutionalize danga gis ne so certainly most like the West you know system be has been created such that so jele jana sa nga def ko at the top jana bobu will deliver or ñu génne ko waaye ñun suñ system si luwas yang fa but nobody cares about enforcing those rules. So yow danga ñëw def naka la sudut noonu keneen ñëw def naka la sudut noonu li Barrow advice like ngeen wax ko ci biir and then you know jamane
yes
so li ndey wax yow in scenario bi that minister xam nga system bi moo nekk in place moo tax ñu force ko pour mu resign waaye su system bi was in there nit ñi rek dañoo toog duñ def dara waaye xam nañ ne the system is already established loolu lañ need in the Gambia institutions public institutions ñu strengthen leen to a point nga xam ne anybody soo ñëwee nga nekk a department head deliver wuloo system bi si boppam ñoo la prosecute. Understand?
Well, I'm not solo. Hande, you want to say something?
Yes, I agree with that. The system be more for and everything, but the buga ñu delluwaat back to this process of suñ dee wax ne okay, we need this kind of person. Yes, baax na ñu wax they need this kind of person. ñu wax quality bi and da. But ñun aagaaguñ foofu sax because Barrow bi mu ñëwee people thought he was easy. 3 years rek dina dem kii xam nga kii yomba na amul problème yomba na easy pam mu ñëw dem yoonam. So man dama bëgg leena lañ bëgg wara bir ci Gambia ni rek ne we have to test, we have to learn ñun stage boobu lañ nekk dañu liñ mëna gëm rek mooy dañoo fal folli bañ aksi because that's the only process because lu ko mooy situation biñ nekk léegi da nga gis nit ñi ne waaw bëgg nañ Barrow mu génna waaye kan bëgg nañ Barrow waaye this is yes we know the
quality sagala ci Gambian
loolu sagala quality we can guarantee right now so that
92 I was still young.
Sorry, yeah.
92 I was still young.
Sorry, Suleiman,
I was still young. Why man musuma gomne bi Jawara waxe ne dafa step down pay di joy di yu di lifit man I feel that was the biggest political mistake in our country.
Yeah.
Right. Even now, Danyone, Sufa Barrow negut kanla, we would rather keep Barrow than get somebody else. Lulu is a big insult to every Gambian, each and every Gambian. Because Barrow Fimuna Jite Deka, that real Yobuko for 10 years. You have other people who have Nyoko Gena Janga, Nyoko Gena Ham Adina, Nyoko Gena Conscious, Hamga, Nyoko Gen Chiluneka. And you have lots of other Gambians in the diaspora ñu xamne war nañu li dëkk bi ñu ne Sudut Barrow gisuñ keneen.
Okay, thanks. So
yeah,
you want to observe
Gambian bi war nga gistuwaat xoolaat sa boppa.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Mom la de wax ne is the same time with the issue of okay, we dinañ joxe description kuñ buga dafa déggu dafa nii waaye ñun muñ ta guarantee at this moment.
No, ndey xam nga problème bi mooy comme ni ma wax ñun as citizens ñun ñoo war a déggu jéem a xeex pour ñu enforce loi yi ci dëkk bi. Understand? Let's say for instance yow man ma ñëw xëy police officer xam nga man handle ma ak yooyu ñu toog ne waa nañ négocier bala ñu rey case bi. Why when they are interested in case you so buge lolu sa they would prosecute you. Let's say for instance gala living officials yakamti nañ arrest ñooñu yakamti nañ ñu slam leen with charges yakamti nañ ñu yóbbu leen court waaye da nga gis a driver would tampung nit mu dee.
We'll come to that. So then you Chifana, we'll come to that. And your observation and then news your ben. So they
no man lima I agree with Suleiman you more explain why lima wax be legi moy ne dal we have to nit ñi bala ñoo tok sax bay aga fofu xanga man dama de wax nit ñi dañu wone waaw nit ñi Gambien seen bop sax ñun ñoo wara régler ñu wone leadership bi is a reflection of us. Leadership is serious. It's the most dangerous tool in any society, in any institutions, anywhere. So you say Europe XFE is the leadership. Leadership, they push an agenda, they push a strategy, they push a value, they push no way being no way. After
leader from somewhere else who have musuta lead anything.
why?
naka la mu amee plan. Baro si boppam wax na ko mu ne.
Exactly, I agree with that. Baro Pade, why li ma wax?
Même a bon minute rek.
Suleiman fu
Mu ne
nga
nit ñi dañ ne moom jàngut.
so
Nit ñi mu ne mënu nga yóbbu dëkk bi.
may ko mu daaneel
Buguma fàtte.
Yeah, no, it's okay, Suleiman. I know sometimes this thing can, but lima one moine. I agree with you with Baro. Baro quality be and all these things is a problem, and that is why it's important for us to know the quality. That agree na. Why man lima wa moine? The leadership is so crucial because you stage being nekani fum nekani. You need a leader that can build system bin your wahnyun, institution bin your wahny. Because you swing ni fum nekani 22 years. Yeah, dafa destroy the mindset. Yeah, satut halis rek. Yeah, reyud rek. Yeah, torture would rek. Yeah, dafa take suñ brain yobu. Hale yi judu yep 22 years. Imagine 22 years. Hale yi yep ñi nga wax yep am nañ 22 years. 22 years generation lañ nekk di live ni. All of these people lan lañ judu, lan lañ xam, rey, saaca, tapale, jaxase. This is the mindset we are dealing with. So ñun dañ am crisis boo xam ne sax duñ ko dee laal. Duñ dee toj foofu sax. And now you have those generation, ñooñu léegi mag lañ, ñeena ñi 22 years, 23, ba ñi am ba 40. Ñi am ba 40, these are Jammeh generations.
Right.
Mindset business. So you need a leadership that is ready, willing to change the system. Norway, biñ jógee seen crisis because Norway was so poor. Ba nga xam ne they went on exile to America and Scotland because of poverty. Waaye biñ ñëwee liñ njëkk a dugal liñ dee yenta looben. Guy dañ ñëw rek dugal yenta looben. Everybody is equal. Can do boast about magena intelligent, magena sap, magena intelligent, magena sap, ma opali. They just put it. It was there. And up to today, you have the yenta love. In fact, Norwegians in Legisa, Norway with all the money, however they are, they have to remove the sukafe, we can compete. But that yenta love will more put everybody at the same level. And so we need a leadership. Build that kind of system. But then do open automatically. Man, I don't have belief ne. Even okay, next system I think we will still struggle. But probably after that. Wow.
Okay. I'm not sure. Why if we amazing the maybe leadership being a hamne, even if we change, all their mindset be Monyom's intention is whatever it takes to be in power, whatever it takes to disunite them. Ben,
so remember what
let me come here.
Whatever it takes, problem like so Ben.
It's easier to build than to rebuild. Because what we are dealing now is rebuilding. After we have started building, we got interrupted now, then to rebuild. To rebuild, the Fafeka, there's so much of rot in the system. You have to go through to get all that rot out in order to make it safe to rebuild again. Now, why did I say this? The First Republic, when we started, the level of integrity within the system, the evidence of it, Hamgalala, Sirif Diba had to resign. Ken Fosuko resigned because of something his brother did. Sirif Diba had to resign for something his brother did and gain up from that position. So at that time, the political leverage he has, Jawara Dukorondaha, and it would have died down and people have continued. He could have said, nothing to do with me, deal with my brother. But if I resign for that. But as time goes on, it started to shift because of political patronage. You see, when you have now PPP trying to stay in power to the extent of they are ready to absorb people and the excuse their failures more into the level of net. When they realize that it's time to bring about change, they could not bring about that change because the majority in the environment, political discourse, yep ñu ragal a rightful leader coming out because of Jawara was already weak, he was not in control. Now, limo tahone Jawara munuta transition, mota bowa here 1992. The likely person that would have come out was Bibi Dabo. The Bibi Dabo was not liked because of Domusa Dega can accuse Bibi Dabo of any form of corruption. They will all make allegations based on he's difficult, he is this, he's tribalist, he's this. Yep, because of he would have dealt with the issue differently. You see, that failure, more the biggest failure of the PPP and the biggest failure of Jawara. If we had changed at that time, Gambia do experience a coup d'etat, and we would have progress.
Mm.
And when talk for the Fogner, you will out of government you can fix bring the best leadership and bring it to power. No, you have to be proven in governance. Let's look at the example today. Pastef did everything. They came into government. The person they put as the executive, what did he do? He's now trying to ally with the old system to stay in power. Human beings, to count. Thousands of people. Four people. But Sunekene, I mean, continuing in as a living be evolution way systems don't just change. System lafa change based on evolution. Because evolution once bro. Somebody have something, they have said something. What have changed Norway? Norway changed because of the diaspora. Came in and brought about change. And the development and change do come based especially on social capitals. Social capitals more inform the mindset and behavior of people. You so the smallest things you do. Next person coming only to recognize the diaspora, to open up the diaspora capital, the social capital of the diaspora. Did not already infuse.
Even Poland changed because of the diaspora.
Yeah.
Even Poland.
You see, I mean, everything else, Lolula. I mean, there's nothing like the perfect leader. But it's about leadership. Individuals don't bring about change. Individuals will be credited for change. Individuals will be credited for bad stuff. But
I'm li panderi don wa. So I'm a leader bo hamne njumula. Pour nako dafa yomba.
No, why can Baro
no,
choose
because
what he wants.
let me just comment.
Yeah.
Gis nga Baro bim ñëwé in power. Man I wrote time bobu every week dama dan bind good morning Mr. President. I think MB daf ma call mu ne ma da nga change lolu and then get something else which I was writing every week. So dama dan comment maneko he is the luckiest president out of the his two predecessors. Because mom dafa ñëw to a point wherein every Gambian loved him and every Gambian wanted him to succeed. Understand? Bepare dafa ñëw fake social media be is open. Because lim njëkka wax mom dafa gërëm diaspora yi gërëm social media. Because lim wax ne mooy gaay time boobu social media be ñoo doon cover seen campaign because GRTS du ko daan cover. So suñ eewoo the first thing they would ask each other mooy lan la social media bi wax tey. Understand? So fàtte na loolu waaye su fekkoon ne xam nga henna du workat mu ne du workat waaye I wrote about that di ko wone qualities si workat su fekkoon ne du workat he could have still used the social media because li ma wax social media bi is a hope boo xam ne people are giving free consultations for him naka la mu rone government bi ak yooyu waaye léegi he doesn't even look at the social media. He doesn't listen to people. Because su fekkoon ne at that time li gaay plan on like am think tank make sure ne the people li ñi appoint dafa nekk nit ñoo xam ne dañ leen scrutinize. They went through the vetting process. Ñu appoint ñooñu things would have been in the right direction. Nekkoon lii du xewte si dee mention na ko because so gisee gaay nanguñ position it's not because bugguñ waaye ni Barrow doon di appointé nit ñi loolu dafa disregard seen MOU living bi agreement bi because every minister ak anyone else ko xam ne dafa hold department head danga waroon a go through that vetting process check sa experience sa integrity ak ndax mun nga run job bi loolu xewut mu jël nit ñoo xam ne let me just finish give me one mu jël nit ñoo xam ne some of them were with us si struggle bi ñun ñëpp ñu amoon yaakaar ne ñooñu suñ ñëwee ci booram dinañ ko guide loolu we've all seen some of those are the worst people than even ñoo xam ne daf leen pick from APRC so li gaa yi def pour consolidate seen boppa the first thing linko je dugal ci bopam ndey wax nga ko ne jamme dafa use suñ head xam nga mindset bi is very important. This reminds me li Steve Biko mune the most sophisticated weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Domi adama so control halam rek control nga everything about that person. So dañ toog woon barone bul déglu Souleymane Ben Souare bugula Souleymane Ben Souare bugut dëkk bi bugut government bi anything li mu wax is against the government. Obviously Barrow du la déglu su la doon jox that opportunity pour déglu
la waaye su Barrow buggee gëm loolu moom la neex su mu nee gëm Sidi Ndiaye evidence waaye muy gëm lu ko keneen wax am nga it cannot be excuse.
waaye xam nga Tom yow there is nobody else ko xam ne dina jóge si àll bi mu ñëw wax ndey ne bul gom Souleymane Ben Souare li mu wax.
waaye mu mun a gom lu tax mu mun a gom Fabakary Tombong ak Sidi Ndiaye kan lan ma ko gom
dañ ko won ne yow ñun ñoo la mun a yàggaloo ci nguur gi te moom dafa
loolu nekk intéressant
am nga Souleymane last week I was here with Mustafa and maa ngi doon wax Mustafa ne the fact ne it was so easy dafa yombon trop pour Sidi Ndiaye ak Fabakary Tombong dem si Barrow ne ko soo génnee gaay UDP ñun dinañ la dimbale dinañ la join ñun laajte wuñ sax question bi pour kanaay Barrow ñun xam sax kanaay Barrow Barrow mooy kan ndax Barrow dafa amoon relationship ak APRC balaa lii ndax Barrow dafa
bëggoon a daaneel mooy ne
balaa lii
social media bi
programme bi am kuma call after programme mu ne daf doon déglu programme bi mu ne when I said that we never asked the question who is Barrow lan la Barrow ama AFPRC bem yomba 2017 when there was so much crisis dëkk baa ngi tense AFPRC nit ñaa ngi ragal ñëpp a ngi ragal ñoom ñu am fit ba dem si Barrow di ko wax ne ko mu génneel ñi ñu dimbala Barrow must have a prior relation or something kooku daf ma call mu ne man dey dama doon déglu programme bi you said that it get reflect suma reflection bi ñëwaat mu ne soo fàttale ko o nga demati si archive bi ba Barrow doon waxa Yaya Jammeh mu ne be waxa Yaya Jammeh ne ko ana sa action man mu ne Barrow ne ko mu ngi nii mu ne Barrow was speaking to action man for very long time mu ne moom loolu dafa des ci boppam bi léegi mu ngi naan why how come why would he be talking with this man so long mu ne moom loolu ñëwati back si man so we don't know this man as well.
Let me help you with that. Barrow toppatookat la woon. Barrow was close to almost everyone.
Moo tax mu like Sidi Ndiaye because moom it
toppatookat la woon. You see, Barrow was close to the Nyom Ndiaye Sidi and others. Everybody.
That tells it.
Because of Jagbaati Ndiaye Sidi, mooy Jigo nitam la woon at that time.
You see.
And he was KMC, the toppatoo the rent and all those kind of things. He was in the system. Yeah. But that's not even the thing. Barrow decided. In fact, gis nga buñ ne win nañ election si rek. Barrow's Gambia la started did decide to be his own and do what he want to do. And I'm saying this based on evidence. Because the minute Lolo di help, you know when people are fighting for the impasse? Yeah. Barrow was already receiving the people from the system to deal with them. Donna Dijel Hallis. Barrow took $1 million. $1 million is what happened. Mugi joge from Trust Bank. The board of Trust Bank, nyoko dajale joko Barrow. $1 million.
Yeah.
This guy Bundeme Senegal. That's where he was always with Mambo Njai, Alaji Cisse, and all the APRC. Fala started Barrow during the impasse, Masane Kinte and everybody else. When I came Masane Kinte and everybody, you see, he became himself from then. He have never intended. He was receiving people in Dakar.
Mustafa, that answered the question because I was saying that we don't know who is Barrow. You talk is analyze this man.
Yeah, that's where it is. The only mistake, Moine, we did not hold him to the 3 years. We could have done everything it takes.
Yeah,
everything it takes.
Yeah,
I think to be honest, is like man, I supported him, and I'm not. I will never regret for having supported Barrow. and he's my borough. Why is like I'm not supporting him in some of the things he's doing. Why yena yo hamne mun ko defar lo hamne jaar na ci yoon, obviously dina ko ci gërëm di ko santa, dina ko ci encourage. Waaye li ma gëm mooy nit ki soo ko buggee comme liñ dee wax sa doomi ndey moo la ne sa gémmiñ a ngay xeeñ, so man noonu laa ko dee waxee. So expect anything from him. And then I think liñ war a def like ndey li nga xam ne xam nga dañ war a wax. So social media bi anyone ko xam ne am na platform mang laa ñaxtu ne am nga nañ jéema waxtaana nit ñi, let them start taking seen citizenship duties yi, xam nga ñu call seen leaders yi to account irrespective of whether seen bokkala or not, because loolu mooy suñ problème in the Gambia. So seetloo even ñun suñ like sooy binda if somebody let's say for example yang suma waay la, understand nga suma nit la, am nañ kolere. So Mustafa ang doon jéem a explain something li mu about kii naka Talib. So I didn't see it, I've missed it. But xëy na dama wax ne duma binda anything against Yangs because suma waay la. Xam nga foofu la problème bi dee ñëw.
Okay.
Because
dañ
dee choose
yes. Saul, if you take Kafo is a problem. But now I'll leave this on the floor. Ordinary Gambians, we want to educate them because 2026 is just around the corner.
We need to come out of that cell wherein you protect your own when they are wrong.
Right.
So Bugasanit, when they are wrong, you need to come out nganya wahlen. Understand? Young's like I think I wrote sometime. We had an argument. Munema, as a friend, if you are supporting the government, we will not be friends. Maneko, why Lulu is wrong? Because my friendship is not based on what you like me to do. We are great friends, and then I'm not kolere demba. Yo linga support man support to malolo. Bull support what I support. Why Lulu waruta affects in relationship.
Okay. Right.
And then we had a chat until we came back together. So Gambians dañ war a bàyyi loolu ne Mustafa suma waay la xam nga su defee mistake waruma génna ñaxtu ko, o Ben suma broda la su defee dara waruma génna di ko ñaxtu, because loolu su defee ma génna ñaxtu ko I will be a hypocrite.
Okay. That's a common thing what is happening. We all know that. Why learn a problem with fee moi we want to tell, or we want to send a message to the ordinary Gambians in Hamne. They are the voters, because I may call Hamne like before we come to the security or the police side of it. So I may call Hamne somebody like Sidinjai. He's well very powerful that he can say things like appointing people directly or indirectly, making comments like that directly, utilizing that sort of space bohamne or position bohamne mom lula am to use it against Gambian people or to politicize it. What would be the message to Gambians to let them know, listen, this is something that this is something lohamne, we don't know this. Even if it doesn't go to the extreme of like pointing fingers of cherry picking who is what and what. So Lulu, how do we tell Gambians ordinary Gambians land, to let them know 2026, come 2026, this is what you need to look out for? Because kohamne da fanyo chiyo milawane tribe. I don't think if you have something to offer, don't mention tribe. If you have something to offer, tell the ordinary Gambian, this is the way forward for the Gambia. Nilan Mune liberate Gambia. So your thoughts for ordinary Gambians about
so more quickly comment because I have to leave after that. So Manlima Moine 2026 is a decisive period. It's like 2016 for us. So we need to decide either we sail or we sink. Sailing moy ñu indi a leader bo hamne dina sowe rewmi. Sinking moy voting for Barrow. Because for me, NPP is just a symbolic name, but NPP is the same as APRC. Because of certainly prominent NPP, they were former APRC living. Te ñoom ñoo nekk di doxal réew mi. So the only difference mooy Jammeh ñëwatut. We would have just asked Jammeh to come and then Barrow nekk vice president.
All right, thank
you. Suñ that change, we need to vote him out. Ñu indi someone ko xam ne is serious about leading the country. Not someone ko xam ne dafa toog ay talent. The only time you get Barrow is excited mooy su nit ñi demee State House muy wax stories di caricature nit ñi. That is the only time nga gis his body language mu relax, mu free, mu easy.
Yeah.
Understand? Man li ma ko di seetaan yëpp loolu laa day gis. So need nga a leader when people come to you nga wax leen plan si naka ngay yóbbee réew mi ci kanam. How are you going to better their lives? Why loolu du fa nekk? Why anytime is like we don't need that kind of a leader. Suñ buggee loolu talent someone ko xam ne dañoo wax stories. We can go to the Bantabas. Xam nga ñu create suñ own local communities yoo xam ne we can be discussing collect suñ folklore si document ko. Why need a leader boo xam ne all the time dafa lifin? Why tamit nit ñi they should come out and condemn every act boo xam ne mom or anybody from NPP or his government def nañ ko. So buñ look at cases Sidi Njie bi fi mu nekk ni seddut. People are talking about it every day. So you were on first day bi ñu bàyyi ko ni kon dafa seet.
Dama bëgg interject foofu rek. Nit ñi mun nañoo condemn, but I don't think that's effective. Man lu ma doon wax mooy ne. The magnitude of offense bu Sidi Njie def. The opposition leaders ñëwoon nañoo def a press conference. So ne detest nañ ko and they call out Barrow to take action. Gis nga individually lu dee gën a xew mooy most of people will come out with emotions. They might even say because some of audios loolu laa si gis people ñu ngi ñëw si emotions to the extent of sa mel ni Sidi Njie fa represent poli wow poli lii lañ dee def.
Man, I was even surprised ne Paul la because before they gave me a Paul. I was surprised.
The guy doesn't care. The guy doesn't care. Why lu ma wax mooy
ne? Is he really fuller?
Yeah, from China.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Why moo la wax ne opposition bi su ñëwee ñu taxaw nii ñu address ko call out. I mean, this situation called out by Egypt, no more lifin, and the public would see and follow rather than public be jump into it because emotions see my
consistent vitamin. Tom, consistent vitamin is very important. I'm going ñun Gambia su dara xewé dañ dé ciow rek force through this ñu sédal. Why gis nga case bi because nit ñi ba nanguñ mu séda.
Yeah,
so that's why eventually
leadership in it. How much should leadership in Norway? Because they are made of different tribes and from different dimensions. Did not unify Nini against against Barrow, against Sidi, against what they
even so Munuta unite, but they should come with statement.
No,
because
last week unite them.
Yeah,
last week they should join the platform to do that.
Wow, anyway. Even last week you
know, guys, so I got to go.
Thank you, Slave, and thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm on crisis last week. One of the leaders in the opposition party, more saga Pakistani, they are like they are not human. What would you do? Even though you're with like opposition together, party party buneka more condemn. Party condemn. Never together in a platform boy condemn ko. Society because the racist party belong. Racist party leader is not different waji. Why just nga binyep nyowe? Dafa come back because guiding gonna is racist and you have to say it racist. Dafa why just opposition party you know condemn CDJ. I don't know. Maybe it's happening.
No, I'm going to effect. So it's like a passing statement. Can you dedicate platform or to dedicate a platform just to address?
Or for a press conference.
Wow. Or press conference just to address this.
Yes.
Understand?
I agree.
Because the point morning, if you do it in Europe, people are so much aware of certain things. But Gambia need new gis. The gis lafa importance in ñom
I very
The
agree.
address then you gisco, not a press release guy send. Then you address ko. They should all have come together. I mean to address this one and in fact Lee duñ ko nangu ci réew mi li mu ngay definitely lolu moy unify nit ñi.
Why Ben lu tax lolu xewut xana opposition
No, because I'll tell you Luther Howard.
yeah lu tax
Okay. Now, it's sadly our opposition, then they calculate stuff and they come with the wrong calculus. It's not going to affect me. It's affecting this party. It's affecting this party. Just ask the same thing. So by a hell with the registration of other political party, especially UMC, though this then political opposition to how they call out the Independent Electoral Commission for their dealing tactics. No gonna hammer them on. You see, if you do this, affect this party. No, this is something mutual. La flena affect the integrity of our elections is all of us. What are your tensions together? Don't get certain parties to comment about it because then you feel killer gonna affect. They are competing against themselves rather than compete against Barrow. They are not competing for the democracy to make sure you're in democracy, rule of law, and so on. This is where the leadership should be. That's the only thing that explains it.
Because Laura Suleiman, in fact, Lingawa is quite interesting, quoting also the case for like UMC with the IAC case, but also just the case of registration with UDP also was the only one there and even been condemned, been aggressive. Distance and everybody Lee should be done together.
So this opposition
Suleiman, the quality of opposition tamit fana war nañ ko xoolaat.
No,
we have opposition, some are active, some are not. Some are just there for presidential or whatever they want or be part of things. So the cause so much, I don't know, saturation. They believe we have a lot of opposition. At the same time, we don't. So that paradox,
I agree. It's not one thing. People have, you said something earlier. We cannot shift the blame onto the public. Then go blame to the leadership. In any change it will come from a minority leadership. Give example of the struggle. How many thousands of Gambians were here? How many people were in the struggle? Literally, compared to the population of Gambians in the diaspora, it was few. It was few. Now, so to say, when the change happened and the impact the diaspora have in the change, because I'm not sacrifice to stay within the leadership and show leadership, show consistency in it, fighting for human rights, fighting for injustice, fighting for democracy in the Gambia. Now, opposition, they have to agree. I am here. I'm not waiting for Samba or Demba. Take leadership. If they take leadership, 5 opposition parties, 6 opposition parties, the rest would be irrelevant. But change will come out of what? Because of young minority parties, putting in stake, they are recognized as opposition are going through. If IEC have audited, if IEC have audited the political parties, duñ 6 political parties in the Gambia.
So why? So these political parties here looks like
because we are drowning. We are drowning.
Okay. Fundamentally, there's disunity in the opposition. There's disunity. Number 2,
Mustafa, that is clear. That is clear.
Number 2, who is to be trusted then? You're there for themselves. They don't see the Gambia because if you want to see the country,
it's not like who is to be trusted.
Go into the trust issue, Mustafa.
It's about what? It's about the ability to. It's very. In the mix of things, it's very difficult for these people to come together to initiate the contact to come together to address issues.
What makes it difficult, Ben?
Suleiman, I want to comment on that. I think also the state also have created a system for the opposition.
Sure.
They are trapped.
Yeah.
Because it's forced them to be more of a firefighter
yeah.
than to just deal with things. instead of just firefighting things. So man, bobu tamit benen challenge la bu opposition bi wara talk, jël inventory, talk whole sen bopa, ne ñun sax nañ xoolaat suñ boppa in the midst of all these crises si dëkk bi, in the midst of all these problems si dëkk bi, because tey soo xoolee report bi génna bu government don't celebrate 163,000 jobs. That's indictment against the government, indictment of the government, because so whole report, this is the worst performance you can think of in a government, and this again even warrant opposition to run with it.
Yes, and go for a press conference. Yes, every opposition leader should go for
indictment, because I was even shocked government allowed this report to come out, but ñom fiñ doon gis ak la nekk ci report bi is two different things. So this is a report that shows complete opposition yi li ñoo xé dégala.
Yeah.
This report gave them the weapon and the tool. Why for now tamit I don't know.
I can tell you what the problem is here. I can tell you the problem here. Like what we have problem with our opposition parties more. They have a problem of projecting themselves. I can tell you today, so by hell, UMC have organized a congress. They have invited certain opposition parties. They are there. Now, why would another party A, should not think of I am going to write these people and invite them for a press conference? I can call the phone. So invite 5, at least 3 will come, or all 5 will come. Because Cinco Banye, I mean, if I come to the press conference, I have invited the different, and I'm going to send a message that I am inviting the members of the opposition, and I will personally reach out. We will personally reach out to them to come for press conference on a Sunday. Fogna send a representative. This is how you do it.
Yeah, that is quite interesting, Suleiman, because Lulu take me to this, like, this anti-government trap.
Yeah.
Big guy neka nga hamne, we are not, let's look at policy. I'm not policies, but let's just go into policy. We deal with Barrow on a policy basis than this anti-government trap. The government they push force lane into that. So when opposition, they have to sit down, revisit themselves, get out of this anti-government trap. It's okay to be but you have to come out of the anti-government trap. We are against Barrow, but instead, the country, what country we want to build, what Gambia we want to build. Because Barrow, so in Barrow, I'm the 1,001 things you have the ko use against him. So opposition be linyuara def moy ne just defeating Barrow, but now providing and building as you go along, yange build a conscious human resource, conscious citizen, conscious manpower bo xamne su ne kereprek bala nga wax ñom jog nañ. Because when you look at the situation of course Senegal, but we have been through Lipastef death before in the Gambia. It's not new. It's not new. But of course, it died. Jame kill it in the process. Jame kill that in the process. So we have to come and reinvent. And then, in fact, opposition is very lucky at this stage. Even though saga ibarina, ninyi barina problem and all these things, but at least we have even very awakened citizens as well. And that is also leverage. Put opposition, you leverage that.
Thank you.
Mindset. Because lingagis, of course, the saga para. But sometimes you see even usually when I write things, you go in the comment section, you have very interesting conversation with people. So opposition, they have to leverage those brains, those mindset, and push the agenda. Because already they have that. And then social media have just so much leverage.
Okay. Why is that not happening, Lolo? Why is that not happening?
Why where the leadership fails? Leadership failure. Every organization should have a communication strategy. And a communication strategy, Moylan, how do I connect to sell my organization? How do I broaden, review the feedback you have and how things are? Now, show me, apart from opposition party try to engage their own, they preach to the choir. What strategy do they have to invite other people on a platform? But they will engage them, they will inspire them, and not the people they volunteer. volunteer just to open, okay, my Boka party, the man def a platform, defer to the party. And the party endorse and agree on that. You have to work on to bring up people, train them, bring up people, organize them. Come on, then I just going to appoint as communication secretary or whatever it is. Mom a press release like he doesn't know how to try to have a social media team, how to work with the social media team, how to do this, how to do that. There's so much to do. But people want to be in executive position and lazy.
And
All
then
right.
in fact, the issue is that also there's a lot of Mandamadewane. Sorry, Mustafa Mandamadewane. Barrow is the very easy opponent.
Yes.
Barrow is a very easy. Jammeh even was a bit difficult because he has some little bit smartness and all these things. But Barrow is a very easy opponent. And just an example back to this report again. You will imagine before they will even post to celebrate, they would have didn't done read report. Assess ko, analyze ko, set a team to look at it. What is the implication of ñu gain 163 nit lañ ñoo am liggéey ak li nekk ci biir report bi but jëluñ seen time sax so loolu laa de wane opposition bi seen biggest problem mooy ne is reactive instead of visionary. Meaning ne focus bi dafa nekk ci ku saaga kan ba pare media bi also dimbalewut leen because media bi tamit is like that. Kana saga kan ban parti moy xeex kan ban parti ak ban parti ñoy xeex tribal tension si kana wax li sosay kana wax li jolay kana li wax li saraxulay be pare battle bi si social media bi tamit xare yi other part of the xare. And then of course election survival because majority of parties tamit election la ñoo surface few ñoo de nekk continue but majority tamit lool la so da nga gis ne focus bi nekkut on national development model si ne li national development la issue based politics la nekk génne nga li ñu lijanti léegi li sa bala affaire si génn sax yow opposition mi lijanti nga ko ba isi ko sax tegal ko nit ñi den mu nekk debate bi ba pare opposition yi duñ dee control narrative bi boobu big problem la gis we should be controlling narrative bi bañ a joxe narrative bi mu dem yoonam or Barrow jël ko or somebody else jël ko boobu tamit big problem la. And the whole economic transformation, of course, I give them credit. It's very difficult to be an opposition in the Gambia because I'm lonely, you have to find ways of surviving and all these things. That I can give credit to them. But these are also these things they can create it. In Gaza, Hamas. Why did Hamas survive up to today? Hamas been realizing they cannot survive economically. They build an economic model. They utilize it to survive. What even to Israel, they bombard, every day. Don't they just get an attack Hamas and then doing a leg stop? No, they continue. We will fight. We are behind Hamas because they provide that. So Funja opposition parties do the run party as an institution. Running as an institution, you run party as organization or groupings, but it should be run.
Let me just agree to it. Let me just give an example. The reason PASTEF transformed in 10 years and went into government is because of the content of the conversation. You have to give people hope. Now, PASTEF was talking about mineral resources that have never been a discussion in Senegal. Many people will tell you that they never knew Senegal have zircon, they never knew Senegal have phosphate, they never knew Senegal have this and that and that. But they made it to the point where resource natural now become even not the formally educated people. They know about these things now. And they told them that this is the way it's been contracted. But we are going to do something different. Only the oil prospects. If these people have a comprehensive policy around how we are going to utilize this, because it's there, the potential is there. But then you interview work for them. And they cannot even tell you what they're going to do. They don't tell you what they do. They tell you, oh, Baron definitely more help. I said, you are the government in waiting.
Yes.
You can tell them.
Suleiman, that's the word, government in waiting.
Yes, you can tell them.
Because Suleiman, and I think it's the same thing in England. You have Sado economic minister.
Yes.
Sado justice minister.
Yes.
Sado, and they all work in committees, justice committee. They have all these things. And look how, see, di nga gis ñoom seen sado bi dina ñëw contre wax own position am from the government. Suñ ne economic, suñ ne tax, suñ ne they will come. This is a shadow government in waiting. And one nga do di prepare nga xamne so jëlé over rek da nga sampa.
Thank you.
Yo ñëwuloo jël over di uti nit de. Yo da nga jël rek sampa. And then you are moving. And most of the transition smooth be buga de. Because shadow economic minister be already mu ngi di follow economic minister bi nekk in government lan laa def lan public paper mooy ñëw lan laa def yan policy di read di follow ba pare di critique lu mun a critique and then move on bill lu ñu war a bill ba pare foofu nga dee mun a billee alternative because then li nga gis ne ñii lii lañ def waaye li lay seen challenges ñun nag gis nañ challenges bi léegi dañ ko jël imbil ko this is it I know it's difficult for most of our opposition but again economically because here every party gets state funding as well because here you have
why
you have membership fees they are very high.
This day and age I can tell you if they are organized it will be sustainable.
That's true. I agree with you
because where people have hope, people have ownership, people would listen and that's what it is, and this is how you broaden your base. Gravitate towards your leader. They just gravitate to their leader and hope that they were going to win elections.
And not reactive politics as well. Not reactive politics, man. I think that also needs to be looked at. Build your institution. Because when you build this thing, take it as an institution, you are not reactive. Even this whole thing of it wouldn't happen. Even that competition do happen because yen focus like policy based wah lele. And then people will see Suleiman, I have to take us back again. Those days, I'm so Suleiman, you can remember that. I'm so Mustafa. Time me PDIS, time me Doi.
Yeah.
Many of us gravitate towards Doi because we come with policies. They jawara ne li kay gene policy ci de agriculture ñu ne la ni lifin bi naka tourism ñu la ni and people gravitate because they are telling us what is happening in the government and then what is the solution. And
for them ni ñangi foré
ku nekk mané nga dem ci marché bi sax nga fekk pa maire yi jaay
iko abalante
nga tek foré man I remember sometimes léegi-léeg nga wàcca school sa roba benn panela suma doom ma ne dégg naa ñu ne lii lañ wax doo ma jàngalal ma waxal ma lii génneel ma ko yes people were doing that and that's what we need. Unfortunately, of course, things change and many people came in and of course that thing just desperate. Of course, Yaya killed a lot of things. Yaya just killed a lot of things, but that was a time where you have a lot of Gambians going into politics, not because Sagante defante no, go into the politics because you believe that they can for a change. Man, I went to study in Poland because I believe we should be social democrat and bring.
Let me something what was missing with the PDIS model. The aspiration for people. Because it was so much seen as a Gambia being a kind of a capitalist natured people. Now there's most people name this all the things they say talk about, but there's nowhere to see they have acknowledged people can have aspiration to be wealthy. It's like they were against and lolu so some social change as communal. Then all it's about communal. They were not addressing the issue of capital wealth building on individuals. But
like now that Halifa talked about sovereign wealth, maybe that time this would have probably make a big change in the whole issue.
Because so by health, one thing they had then, the value they had was trustworthy. The value they had was they are thinkers. They think. They are given this thing. And as you said, by 1994, Nugi Doron resonate to the youth.
Yes, they really resonated.
And soon on democracy continue without interruption. That could have been living. But now, because now access to social media. Because this generation is access. You can bring about change. The smaller head in impact of WhatsApp audios.
Yes.
how informed people are now. What not what we tell Gambian people. Gambian people have duna from nene.
No, they know.
The parties know what them what ñom lan lañ leena jox different. That's what they need to hear. What are you going to be different?
Somebody came there, just these writings I do on social media. Say sifuna be hey Monday day jobatela de check lan labinda. Suma ay mune tek be suma sister bi mune bu koku duga se su koku ne ko muy ko wax ne ko hey li ndey jobatela mune ko suma sister la suma mu gestu suma ne ko ya ko jur suma ne ko mako jur way ñeme ñuma ki ma sona si loxom. So I mean it tells you how people resonate with things to make them to understand.
Yes.
Pour ñu mëna understand affaire si lan la li moy lan li lañ dégga way lan la. Because loolu yëpp daf dey help for people to understand, to resonate. Social media is a good tool for the opposition. And generally,
let me give you an example. What is their solution to the fisheries problem in the Gambia? Imagine a loolu rek. People are dying. I mean, imagine a policy area where we not discuss about that. Go to the fish stakeholders, go to the public, everybody else. Why don't go there?
My problem here is is not happening. Why is
it's the problem with the way they are doing politics. It's the old way.
Oh, why you been? How can you entrust them?
No. I mean, look, Mustafa. There's nothing like change would allow.
Change happen, and then sometimes you can happen with change as well.
You cannot say that you have to leave Barrow there. No. Matter of what
I don't think so.
You need a democracy.
I mean, to entrust them.
It's not even about entrusting, I guess, because when they got into power, there are structures there.
Yeah.
You change structures. Structures. How are they going to manage to change those structures? They should change, they should be ready and prepared. More than mostly opposition. Look at generally African opposition. So in the power, they get shocked because they are looking for fake. But you would expect that they have all these shadows already. Then you run. Then things you happen here and there. Why it will be major. For biggest challenge also with the African opposition. It's just
you have experience with Ghana. You have experience with Ghana. Imagine since Rollin left, how many leadership do they have now? The government that came in place within 100 days, they stabilized the currency. Within 100 days.
Yeah.
Now you get implement because from experience of change. It comes democracy.
Funja rek di change lola. Lola de was Suleiman Moyne. Funja janga di fal folly. Because Europe non la deme. Europe didn't come like that. Europe fall. Mustafa, Angleterre bi ngeen nek yeen ñaar ñep dictatorship bu nek amu dictatorship bu fa nekkuton. Why they go in change be exit. Ñun tam funja rek janga ne we have to change. Barrow is a catastrophe. He has to go. And we all agree on it.
Sepra's report clearly it states that nobody they want change.
Yes.
But what kind of change? Some don't even know. Teman, I can tell you, I had a little survey about maybe 200-300 or even more people in the Gambia. What can we do? What can we do? A lot of them will say change. But they say, how do we change it? They don't even know.
No,
everyone wants change, but they don't know how to change it. And they say, and some of them, some of them, they're all the same.
No. Okay. Let me tell you. Now, don't ask them about change. Tell them, what do you want in your life different? Ask them that question. What do you want in your life different? You see, Mona Manela, that's what politicians should do. It should be a conversation. Now, if I go to, let me give you an example. If I go to the Mandamonte at Fish Landing site in the Combo. Now, if I'm talking to these things, I'll come and introduce myself, who I am and why I am there. And I will engage them and ask them, what do you want different? What are your challenge? What do you want different? And you will be surprised how much they will know to inform you. Why we have already been thinking about this A, B, and C. But by listening to you people, in fact, we think of D, E, F. Now you have already given them ownership of the change. You are carrying them on and you are mobilizing. Leading your sectoral politics, you have to go to sectors and approach them on their sector. You teachers union. Why can't the political parties address teachers union? You don't need the teachers to invite you to their union. Make a platform that you are going to engage the teachers. What will happen? You'll be surprised how many teachers will come and tell you what they want different, and you tell them their policy for teachers. Nurses. Come on, this is what you have to do.
And this is another thing.
My friend, all this opposition, they don't know this.
You'll be surprised, nit munna hamdara, but muneka in an organization that is not proactive, things will not come out.
Yeah, and then if you have executives that are not proactive as well, sometimes you have to have really people who really visionary to see these opportunities, because politics opportunities stuff okay, Suleiman, your teachers union this is an area we need to be there. So the biggest challenge swing voters also, again back to 22 years of Jammeh, it has turned the voters as well, majority, to be very, very cynical into this poverty trap.
Yeah.
Poverty trap makes it very difficult for you think. So you feel dal tay amna luma jende leka rek, that's it. Wow, man, subara deme maybe ki duma ko jox de or nan nako am siki. So this has really affected our name. But yes, we have very excited voters. We have very excited citizens, but it's like they're not interested.
Yeah. One day, Mota, you have to engage them.
That's it. I agree with you, Suleiman.
Let me give you another example. Mandan in New York, when he came out to the political scene, he was 1% of the polling.
Yes.
What did Mandali do different? He went and find out what engage them and tell them policies about simple things. But these are the things that impacts them.
But I think another interesting thing could be more. You have your structures. Because why is the structures you know tamit? For example, so I'm a structure gunjur. Guy gunjur ifaneka gunjur la kartong and all this group in Bini. They will have meeting with the locals.
Yeah.
Know their issues.
But they will need support from they will need some support from central committee.
What? Yeah. No. Do you need that?
No. Why? Because most of this thing, they are handicapped. They can organize certain things, but provide the material, the delivery of messages, and you go and support them. Because at the end, these are coordinators. You should have coordinators. To coordinate these things.
If you don't have resources, your best is to have these structures standing alone. They are part of the thing.
These places are not far apart.
Yeah.
And most of these things, you do it on the phone. It's just a matter of being innovative.
Right. All these things you two are mentioning, it sounds simple, but if you think there's an opposition,
I don't think it's simple even, Mustafa. I know what you mean.
Commitment.
Yeah, I know, but if that means the oppositions we have currently, if they cannot think outside the box to initiate things of this nature, well, I don't know, where do we stand? Are they really opposition, or they're there for something that we do not know?
They are opposition.
Yes.
Mustafa.
They are opposition, Mustafa.
Unless you get into government, and to get into government means you have done certain work in order to win an election. It's not easy to
But
win an
before
election.
you get into the government, Ben, you need to be shadow, and then that shadow side of it.
No, Ben, look, you come up with expectations. You come up with this.
But government has structures already. You come into the structures and see, are you changing?
Remember the civil service. Remember the civil service. It's already there. The opposition, the party that was in government, go and leave you a civil service. Your lawyer is to review the civil service, and if they need enhancing and whatever you do it. You see, when you win an elections, it's a different ballgame. Before winning an election, it's a challenge.
That is a challenge. Mustafa, I agree. That is where the problem is, Mustafa. Yeah. It's not like they cannot be interested or there is a problem or they don't know. That is a challenge. And again, I go back again. African opposition is a condemned to poverty. Yeah. You have to work hard to even generate those income. And that is deliberate by the state. They make sure the opposition don't function. Now, the dilemma and the paradox, how do we break this change? I know a lot of these opposition tend to do fundraising here and there, but is it enough to sustain? What opposition should be doing, opposition should now engage in business. Sure. Opposition should now engage in creating jobs, because Lolo would be sustainable. Because when you create businesses and then you engage these people, engage your people, enter into business, running this thing, that will also give you income for your own sustainability. Because the state use it and it's deliberate. State reform makes you stay poor. Gurum sa nit bem ba anda pam baro jël yobu nga tok guruma tata baro jël yobu is that money. So the opposition should be run, the party should run like an institution, and then also there should be a business arm of the party. So I don't know exactly. I have to take the rules, but I don't
advise any opposition party in the Gambia or in Africa. You have to be innovative. Don't think of the old, think of the new. Look, I can tell you, I mean, if you are innovative, there are many streams of revenue. Now we'll get them on.
Yeah.
You see, you have to give ownership to the people as well. And when you build your leadership, then the Francois based on dedicated people. Why? Another problem, people like to build their leadership based on trust. Who I can trust to be my this, who I can trust to be my this, because they fear if you bring competitive people, you're suburban, you are not this. This is where the problem is.
But that is why I said they run it like an institution, because like when you go into so work in a company, you go into management.
Yeah.
And you have to work with them. You have to lead them. You have to manage them. So I think that also opposition the world hall, they set those models as well. Now, how those companies function to that point that they but then you manage to entice person, you build the trust. That person, them not to a point when the commitment a passion is this.
Yeah.
And how do you keep that going? Because opposition is difficult. Opposition is a marathon. How do you keep that within that marathon? It's another thing I think one needs to look at. But it's tough, Mustafa. I must say, it's a tough thing, and Suleiman said it. It's a tough to be an opposition in Africa. And especially Gambia now, where Barrow has absolute money, that he will just do whatever he wants, and he's using it because he knows that he has to use it. But Mustafa, December, he has to go. We are tired.
You think you'll be able to? Well, for that to happen, your thoughts on the youthful side of it, and then the police and the security, and then we'll do a summary here.
Yeah,
Ben, especially.
Naka, Mustafa, this is again where leadership comes. The opposition should not expect this government to do the right thing. They have to force their hands to do the right thing. In politics, it's about leverage. If you are to tackle any situation, you should try to examine and see where am I strongest in order to approach this situation. I'll tell you this. Now, this is now evident we don't have to think about it. It's out there that the institutions under governance are not independent. They are all controlled by the executive. That does not mean that the executive have absolute control over them. They have control until you challenge the institutions in the way and manner you should. And now this is where, how do you challenge these institutions to work or to level up to give you an opportunity to win? And in this scenario, this is where it matters to opposition to work together. I'm not talking about even a coalition, to work together because you have mutual interests. Now, I cannot understand, let's say you have 5 opposition parties, the major opposition parties, each of them thinking that they can win an election, and the field is not leveling up. Now, this is where the leadership should come from individual political parties and arrange these meetings and say, look, we have to level up. If we have to stand chance for any of us to win or for democracy to survive. Now, in this sense, we can address the policing. And the only effective way to address the policing in this country is to be seeing the opposition standing up and calling it out as it is. I can tell you that the leadership in the police are opportunists. They are not loyal to Barrow. They're only trading loyalty to Barrow as much as they see that Barrow is surviving. The minute they have seen an effective opposition, these people would start to do the right thing.
Yeah, we see it in Gambia, who was more brutal even.
Yes. Now, in the same way to the other institutions. Now, to the youths, as I said, this is where the opposition should help. Let me give you an example. Which of the opposition parties can tell you a clear policy on how they're going to advance the youths? They will make policy statements. Oh, we are going to make sure we create jobs. We are going to make sure we do it. How are you going to do that? They're not telling the youths. They're not giving the youths that hope. Why can't the opposition talk about a dedicated design ministry for youths, innovation, volunteering, and so on? Dedicated ministry. And they talk about the funding to make sure youths are prioritized. Then the things about youth sports should not be run at the ministry. Sports should be run at the technical level. GFA, Gambia tennis, all these things can be empowered. The ministries don't run sports. They cannot run sport. Why? And if the youth are so much important, why can't you dedicate a ministry just to concentrate on developing the youths? This is how you
the budget is horrible. The budget for youth is horrible.
Everything is spent on air tickets. The Minister of Youth, everything is on air tickets to fly to football or play football. That's all. There's nothing for the youths. Now, if you talk about youths and innovation, this is where I talk about technical skills, talk about innovative skills, entrepreneurial skills, other skills. Your policy will explain all this. We are going to create this, and the ministry will be looking after that. Then the department that is for skills will be taken from higher education. Higher education, we don't need a higher and a lower education. We have one Minister of Education. Take the skills part of it, put it at the Minister of Youth. The trade ministry that have a department to do with youth trade, put it. Take that part, give it to the Minister of Youth.
Yeah, because if you have Ministry of Education, you can have inside that, you can have Directorate of Higher Education, Directorate of this.
Yes.
You can,
you don't need it. Now, if you do this, now that's about innovation. The thing about volunteering, this is where we use volunteering to change the mindset, because we need country of entrepreneurs and volunteers. Then the Minister of Youth will be in charge of every form of civil society movements, from the Boy Scouts, Girl Guides, all different things, because we need these institutions to be empowered, the Red Cross to be engaged. This is what change the behavior mindsets of youth. There are so many other organizations that will come out from the Ministry of Youth running especially in the communities. Now, if you go to there are big communities in Nema and these areas. There are no amenities. There's no amenities, and this is where the Minister of Sport should be dealing with these things. This is what we need. But I mean,
Suleiman, you said something that I think I want to just add to what you have said. Really, I agreed in things you say. Another missing link: the civil society. The civil society in the Gambia is having the same crisis that politicians are having. And we cannot depend on politicians alone. Civil society organizations, activists, religious leaders, trade union, and all these movements, they're supposed to protect the national conscience. But that is not happening. And there is a serious challenge in the civil society because they're almost in existence. You hear that one of the Edward Francis Small and which one? I can't even remember.
No, most of them do not driven. They just do activities.
And then even compromise, because some of them are very politically aligned, some are not. So this is also another big challenge, that the civil society's role should be defending democratic principles, because we've seen so much abuses that you fail to see them. Maybe they are there, they write, one doesn't see it, but one needs to see them. They need to help educate the citizen, prepare the citizen, monitor these things, monitor power, but you don't see it. I miss that. I miss that strong civil society, apart from Edward Francis Small, and the work is enormous at the moment. We are faced with so much. So Manama from the civil society also has to come on board, not only the politicians, because it wouldn't work. We need them to come up and make sure this government is challenged and explain things to the people. It's not about issues over personalities. That has to stop. Policy over propaganda, that has to stop. Institution over political camps, that has to stop. Gambia is so polarized.
I'm not so one day. Thank you so much. You want to be buried, but before we go, we would like to summarize this program and then educate people the message for Gambians about politics on tribal line. Lulu, that is very, 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 very important, because Lulu, I'm not so alone. Gambia, if you have a look at it, Kuneka, we are all interrelated, directly or indirectly. And then back in the days, the elders before, they live in that mutual environment of like families and friends. You can go to anyhow, sleep there, eat there, and then conveniently there's that good relation that has been going on back in the days. But nowadays, people with this mindset or with this way of seeing things, like we will do whatever it takes to stay or remain in power. We will do whatever it takes for us to be or remain in power. So on that note, Nay, what do you think? Foog nga ne lan lañ wara def pour muna like educate ordinary Gambians ne come 2026 képp ko xam ne dafa ñëw si yow muy laa ne tribe di tribe lele lele ak lu demee noonu kuku jaruta déglu. What would be your explanation? What would be your thoughts for ordinary Gambians when it comes to tribalism, politics of tribal difference? Right.
Man lima buga wax Mustafa generally daal ne 2026 ñun Gambians si ñun ñëpp December dañ agree ne ñëpp wax ne dañ sona and ñun ñëpp agree ne buguñ majority agree ne buguñ Barrow. So emotion alone would not be enough. And then social media anger also would not just be enough. Complaining tamit is not going to be enough. So lima wax moy ne I will start it not just sanity, but just like Linfi don't discuss, oppositions they have to unite. And as Suleiman said it, they don't need to even be in a coalition, but to be able to work together. They have to be able to work together. There should be discipline and there should be strategy. They have to be strategic as well. Because fragmentation, battles, endless internal conflicts, Barrow rek la favored ken. Now Gambians ñun individual Gambians apart from the opposition party dañ wara move beyond beyond tribal and party loyalty. Dañ wara gis Gambia because at the end of the day suñ nekké ci tribal and party loyalty li dé xew moy ne ñun ñëpp dé sofa because li gaay dé wax ñom sé bop marché bi ñun ñëpp fa dé dem marché bi so fa démé duñ wax ne UDP nga joggé o UMC nga joggé o yaangi joggé GDC marché bi ñun ñëpp fa dem ñun ñëpp ay sofa. So we have to move from that because ben democracy ben deka du change su citizens sen bopa joguñ ne li ñun doyna 2026 won nañ ñuko ba Gambia si taxawé ne doyna gis nañ li xew. Of course there is unification also si opposition and coalition bi so dañ wara tok xol suñ bopa ne Barrow su togaté 2026 ñu ngi delluwaat 2026 bi su Barrow winé December ñu ngi delluwaat si Yaya Jammeh style nañ pare xeex nañ pare waat fight biñ fighton that is Yaya Jammeh 2.0 because fa la ñoo dem parce que doon na di ñu ko won fu Sidi Njie mëna taxawé wax lim wax lu horrible bi Barrow taxaw as a president defend ko that tells us that moko yoni Barrow lum ñu wax lool la mu ñoo wax ne moko yoni moko santa liggéey bi bàyyi leen ko as simple as that so fu mu nekk ni ñun duga nañ ci dictatorship ba pare li des rek mooy Barrow door di effect affaire yi parce que loolu la doon nit ñi li ñoo sa rey xap xew na fi dat baaji biñ rey and couple of few we can count few dañ ko téyewu dara ñu ngi téye rek naan incident la si loxo police la but Jammeh noonu la dooroon ñu naan police la NIA la police la NIA la after
da nga faté Faraba ñaata nit lañ fa
Faraba as well exactly so rey bi door na
and the case of Ousseynou Bojang we all know that now is state sponsored
police de nga xamne musuñ man gooma ne musna dégga lolu Gambia police ñoo sut in the street. No. This is the first time I'm hearing that. So yépp nga xew so already ñu gis nañ ne even rey mu ngi happen waaye comme time yi Jammeh dañ ko ignore lii police la lii ba affaire si dem become state thing yoo xam ne state bi moo ko jël rek normalise ko def ko opération so am nañ chance bi December 2026 am nañ chance bi am nañ Gambien yi war a jël over because Barrow munut bawut te mu ne du bàyyi so ñun suñ juuti la as Gambians buñ xool ne lii la benn Gambian tey mënuma wax ne gisut alternative.
Yes, so there's no candidate man bu ma xam bu am potential to lead nga ne Barrow moo ko tane.
Yes, amut. So bugut Ousainou Darboe Halifa Sallah fa so bugut Halifa Sallah Essa Fall fa so bugut Essa Fall what's the name Taliban fa so bugut kooku Lamin Dabo fa so bugut kooku GDC Mama Kandeh so we have even new crops coming. So Gambian bu ma wax ne xamut kan la o ku even wax ne kentanew sa morom that's insult. Barrow is corrupt to the end.
And some of these people say this deliberately because they want the status quo. They're benefiting from it. Excuse me.
So am nañ choice. So Mustafa Lima wa Gambia ni dal su Barrow winee 2026 nañ pare si xeex. And bu ben Gambian talk di complain no. We created it. Barrow su winee because Barrow won nañu already who he is. Dictatorship lañ nekka and Barrow is ready to execute it. Sidi Njie is dégg naa dégguma ko gisuma ko waaye dégg naa ñu naan second audio bi Sidi Njie is saying ne su winee nañ meeg so ne soo see yëpp nañ leen génne. This is what I'm hearing. How true it is dégguma ko si audio bi yeneen audio gen waaye li ma woo these people have a master plan koo xam ne support loo government bi just be ready that you are out. And this is the situation foofu la ñoo utali nii Gambien si nag ñun si diaspora bi lañ nekk Mustafa support wax loolu lañ mun that's what we can do. Si Gambia nii la des ñooy dem sandi karta ak some of us in diaspora who are going to sandi seen karta yi and diaspora bi ñoom ñun xam nañ fu ñoo dugal suñ karta yi ñun we know léegi Gambia ni nekk si biir dëkk bi si ñoom la des fuñ dugal seen karta ñu ngee dem Jammeh 2.0 now it's going to be Barrow maybe 1.0 because Barrow la ñoo satade so this is man suma wax lii la am nañ choice bi lay the only chance buñ am pour génnee Barrow jaamane ñooy si dëkk bi as simple as that. Yeah.
Jërëjëf Ndeye, thank you for your thoughts. Ben, your thoughts ci fànn yëpp, especially the tribal side of it, because Lolo is causing turbulence.
Let me try to keep this very distinct. And first, lu Ndeye wax mooy civil society. Te bëgg naa bàyyi xel ne nit ñi bàyyi xel suñu waxee civil society, not only the movement, young movement, you know this. Gambia from the day then lose something, and that's from Jammeh on. You see, when people don't understand some of the things that Jammeh have broken, I'm on a moment you have su president wahe darasa. There are council of elders. You have them like the audience, the president, this shouldn't have happened.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not thinking Gambia.
Yes.
Now
I
can
remember Banjul elders was like that.
And others, Malane Fumneni, Lepaluñ am, luñ wara consider as council of elders, they are all people compromise, something from something. Lana tax my wax li because ñu ngi nekk at a time boo xam ne the NPP government are so desperate to stay in power because of xam nañ si luñ nekk xam nañ yaaxa buñ def dëkk bi naxari na boo xam ne ñoom xam nañ ne su nekkul government mënuñoo survive si taranga buñ nekk then they are ready to do anything to the point ne xalaatuñ ne lu ñoo def nii mun na moo taal dëkk bi ñoom xalaatuñ loolu bon ñun Gambian si bala maa ñëw si opposition bi ñun Gambian si di wax suñ njaboot yi suñ family suñ xarit yi ñu understand this and we have to understand ne man at yow mënuñoo determine kan mooy dem nekk the next president but one thing lu important mooy ne whatever the case am nañ war a mën a indi keneen and loolu lu moo def mooy Gambian si nañ miin bi génnee in a peaceful manner and I can tell you one thing suñ fa bàyyee Barrow maa la wax ne Barrow du fa génn si jàmm su Barrow crossé this election
I agree.
I can tell you
I agree.
I can tell you that
I also agree.
because économique duñ continuer si réew I can tell you that te nekk fa sax am na fu moo toll économique mënuñ ci dara now su ma waxee loolu ba pare wax naa mbiri civil society wane ne is in absence te xam nañ the civil society we have today ñoom tam some of them are well willing others are just trying to find civil society as a form of employment and survival these are the facts now in the essence is absent the only thing we can look at ne mu ngi in existence and they have a mandate and they have a responsibility more the opposition and the simplest things they can do is to work together and to come out to denounce and this is how they can control the temperament so Barrow hamene because Barrow is working on these things they are doing the Gambian people will be so divided and they can easily sneak out and stay in power. That's what they're working on. Now, so opposition, when we are united to see the Gambia will progress, to see that we will build our democracy, and out of us, we have one of us would become a leader. This is what we'll ask for them. Lila ñoo laajte Gambian people, we are not asking Gambian people to erupt and bring about change. We are asking for change to come change to be led. Since erupted, I can tell you there are so many ticking time bombs in that country. They should continue this divisive politics. Certain things we cannot say it on this thing. I can tell you many scenarios of why it risks national security.
Yeah.
Because of Tay. Let me give you an example. In the United Kingdom, a false reporting on social media have caused a riot. False reporting on social media. Now, dama bëgg ni ñuy déglu nañ use seen help. But one in a tension si high ba nga xam ne certain false reporting now, which is very easy. Mu am on social media xay dina am because xejut suñ biir. Xay dina am xejut suñ biir. Amul fu ñoo laaxoo te lépp lu ko indi because of président bi at ñum andal, they are deliberately. This is not an accident. This is not misspeaking or anything. This is a strategy have ñu ko def saa yu nekk fu mu ne nii dañ desperate bi nga xam ne they are pushing it out. Not only the conversation we was recorded. Hey, we had another one when Shehu Malo came out and said this thing. Where was the outrage? Because of no outrage be ego from water ego. People can organize in the absence of opportunity things and try to start to demand. But Luma Wahmoine, let nobody see this as is against Mandinkas. This is against Gambians. And we should not expect Mandinkas to stand up to fight for themselves. Because it's not about them. It's about us Gambians. Because this is about the destabilization of our country. Since Toge need the audacity, the one that have marginalized an entire tribe. What are you telling us? You are ready to set our country in fire. And Nico Hamne Duniti Dara. This guy have proven that represented Poli. I'm Ben Paul will represent Nako. It on village boom toge INL hospital because of what Munuta a political credit for that hospital. How many people now are dying in Chairman because of having access to hospital? It's coming to 2 years now.
Yeah.
So who can represent?
Yeah.
Non-entity like that. They alal bum taranga bum neka, properties fu neka.
Yes. Yes.
Te nak buñ fogg ne dañ yenen rew yu duga ci li dañ len oppa ñaan dañ len oppa barke ndax yalla ñun la fa nekkal du dëgga su nekké di continuer li di dem dina ekati lo xamne wawta am already man ma ngi dégg ay audios di react. Those people ñu ngi react out of ignorance, ñu ngi react out of emotion because of sin reacted against ignorance. Duñ doon foog ne an entire ethnic group ñoo nekk di xeex another ethnic group.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
What it. Then want to identify these people. Ñoo nekk di ko def moo tax nag nga nekk Gambian nga bugg a nekk si Barrow nga mën a nekk NPP déggal li di ko gis di ko kondoon yow sa boppam yaa gën a bon Sidi Njie.
Yeah, that's true.
yaa gën a bon Sidi Njie mooy di cabinet nga nekk cabinet nga nekk NPP bureaucrat at yëpp either you are so much ignorant that xamuloo what is going on or danga you are evil as Sidi Njie.
And evil as the president as well, President Barrow. Evil as president.
yow xam nañ ko. Send biir ñu ko kunu waaye kenn ñeme ñu ta génna wax because of Sidi Njie soo waxee again Sidi Njie gis nga président mi génna def na ko wane na ne Maimouna ñëpp xam nañ ne Maimouna Cissé Dabo laay wax.
Of course.
ñëpp
But Maimouna Cissé Dabo si boppam xam na ne moom la ñoo wax di.
waaye the same Maimouna Cissé Dabo I mean a week before mu ngi taxaw di def the same thing tribal politics.
Why Suleiman loolu la because so yow soo toogee di has sa own tribe. Yow soo toogee di go against sa own tribe because tribalism bi ñoom seen boppa. They do it. maa ngi gis nag last time bi I miss it because I was so busy. maa ngi gis I think Ismail Cissé Fana Dr. Ismail Cissé moo doon jéem a defend that I think Kër Fatou laa gis ñu binda ko I was to react but I had so many things di wane ne the president shouldn't be held responsible lan la Maimouna Cissé Dabo wax si or lan la nit ñi di wax si platform bi. Anything being said on a presidential platform is the responsibility of the president.
Absolutely.
And that has to be very clear.
Absolutely.
And the president sanctioned it and want it and decide on it as well.
No, why president be in fact def na ko kiyang mom si bopam?
Yeah, money last election is 2021 the platform.
No. Before after that, boom dem a so-called inauguration of Foundation for Roads. Mutek ay kilifa of kiyang. I saw Dylan dama lose even from every polling station yen sote. Yen sote support Dylan.
Yeah.
How can you say that?
Yeah.
How can you say that? Ama, from Nani, we are calling for leadership, not only from the opposition, but from Gambians. Gambian mune, what you want to educate some work.
Yes. Yes.
So that we don't react based on sentiments. So that we can hold accountability from the matter.
Yeah.
Because this thing can cause trouble.
and Suleiman Gambian bu nekk na nga vigilant nga xam ne duñ isi ñu waruta saani karta xamante nañ de soo gisee loo xam bu ko songa xee bu ko def dara yóbbu ko si IEC o yóbbu ko si political leader o nga yóbbu ko police as simple as
ndey man dinaa disagree foofu election day Gambian si war nañoo mun a wax ne kuñ gis nga on na la ne you are not nga lifin we are ready to deal with it because police will not deal with it.
Exactly, very good, Suleiman. I agree with that. I like that.
No, last election, that's what Pastor did. Sonko stood to say, Kunjapa, we'll deal with you.
Yeah.
We have to send the message.
Yeah.
We have to send the message.
I agree. Do or die. Like, be mom, do
we
or
have
die.
To send the message. We have to send embassy here, then what have been Wahalan citizens.
But he has no reason to lead anymore. Mom si papa report and bim gene he has no reason to lead anymore. Report and be Mustafa, you should read this report. This report is an indictment.
And they have a violent
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Suleiman.
you. So thank you.
Always
so
nice
much.
having you for this analysis and reflections on these things. It's really definitely it's really nice having you with the expertise. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, so. Thank you, Nay. Thank you. Yeah, right. This is where we'll draw the curtain for tonight's edition of Skype, our civic education program for and on behalf of all my colleagues here. It's been Mustafa Jame Biani said, Brum Besarodi Lajane for local Nala, inshallah, come on Skype or radio and TV services, and Al Badimala Mustafa Jame for the civic Nala, inshallah, Alimba.
Bangara.